Hey, what's up guys? So we are here investing in Arcehage. Currently, there's not that many items that I personally would invest in. I think we're going to see a huge crash on all like the labor produced items like stone, lumber, materials like that because in a few weeks we're going to be getting double labor essentially. We're going to be getting 10 labor points while offline for being a patron. That's going up from 5. So that's going to generate a lot more free labor points in the game, which means a lot more people are going to be mining, a lot more people are going to be using it to cut down trees. There's going to be a lot more of labor usage going on. So a lot of items are actually, in my opinion, going to drop in value. But we're going to look at the few that I think that are going to increase in value. And surprisingly, I checked the auction house today. We are on the Taoyang auction house cluster, and this is one of my favorites right here. You may have noticed I've talked about this before. It's a fire lunarite, and reason I think it's going to go up is because once you have your regrades and your weapons ready at the level that you're happy, content with, the only thing left to do is to socket them. Socketing takes a lot of these guys. To make a socket, make a Luna gem, you need 10 of these fine lunarites to make the very basic one, and then it goes up to superior and fine lunarites. So it takes 10 at every step, and then those guys can break. So it's very, very costly, and you need a lot. So the reason this is a great value is because the NPC sell price is 3 silver, meaning you buy it for 3 silver and 1 copper, you can't lose money. Well, okay, you can lose a copper. 1 single copper for buying this guy right here. So we are going to buy him for sure. Anything that is around probably 5 or 6 silver for the fire and the wave lunarites, I definitely recommend buying those guys. Even if the price doesn't jump up at all, you are still getting a very cheap material that you will be using later on in the game. You can see that one someone had already purchased. And here's the more correct value currently of these guys, around 10 silver. So if you can find any of those guys at 3 silver or 5 silver and under, I definitely recommend buying them up. So we type in wave lunarite, and you can see we have some right here again at 3 silver, so we're going to go buy them up. And these are things that just get thrown away by most players because they don't, they think them as trash, they think they're not worth much. But when you start getting to the upper end of the game, you need to start socketing your gear. And it's going to become a very big thing because they've introduced a gear score. And as we know right now, the gear score is public knowledge. So as you go over to someone's name, you'll see it shows you their PvP honor points, their hostile faction kills, their health, their mana. There, with the implementation of gear score, is going to have a gear score as well. So let's go over to, so that was me. When we go over to him, it shows us his stats, roughly. Now we're going to be able to see his gear score. So we're going to be able to roughly see how much gear he's got, how good he is gear-wise. Again, this is currently understood as public knowledge where you can't turn it off. There has been some reports that saying that in Korea that you could have an option to turn it off where you won't be public knowledge. But there's also a gear score leaderboard as well coming, and the top players are going to have their gear scores on there. So obviously, if you're running into someone who's got Delph gear or Ionod gear or tier 6 obsidian gear, they're going to be on the top of the leaderboards, and you're going to know who they are. But even so, just the average person around the world, you're supposed to be able to check on their name, see their stats, see their gear score. So it's going to become a lot more competitive in that nature of be like, hey, what's your gear at? And you're gonna be like, dude, I'm at like 3,500. What are you at? And they'd be like, oh man, wow, you're crazy. I'm only at 3,100. Like that's awesome. And then it's gonna be like, okay, so I need a regrade or I need to put more Luna gems on my gear to make it better. And then of course you're gonna see elitists come out where they are saying, well, we're not gonna raid with you or we're not gonna party with you because you only have a 3,000 gear score. You need to have a 4,000 gear score to get into this party or get into this raid or to get into this alliance. So you're going to see that as well. You're going to see elitists come out a lot more heavy. I mean, they already exist as is. You know, gear checks, check, well, what kind of weapons are you bringing into the instance? That already exists. And it's going to get more heavy, more, you know, out there. So if your gear sucks, you may not be as welcomed into some of these parties, which, yeah, it's going to suck for some people. But, you know, I mean, gear up. If you want to play casually with your friends, play casually with your friends, but don't expect to go be running the in-game instances and having people carry you through the instance. It's, you know, not what's going to happen. So another item that, talking about that point in gear score, is going up, and is the moon points. So you'll notice they're around 4 gold right now. They saw a slight increase in value. They were roughly around 2 to 3 gold, you know, for the longest period of time, and that's really cheap. Now they're around 3 or 4 gold, and that's because obsidian armor has been introduced. They've talked about that. It's coming out within the next couple weeks. So that's brand new armor with great, amazing bonus stats on it, and it's very easy to get. And it's easy to get the ones that you want. It's just like obsidian weapons, meaning every time that you upgrade, you always can go up to the next level as long as you can farm the materials needed. So very similar, almost identical, but now there's a split. So at tier 3, there is a split in the obsidian weapons and armor in this patch. So currently, there is only obsidian greatsword, obsidian, ominous obsidian greatsword, cursed obsidian greatsword, and then it goes up into these named versions. So Terraforge, Maiden's Tier. The next step is they have a second subcategory. So instead of going the Terraforge route, you would go to like the Excalibur route, the different sword. So you can take your cursed obsidian greatsword and split off into 2 different paths. And the reason you'd want to do that is this Terraforge has specific stats. This sword has strength and stamina, and then its bonus effect is increased melee crit damage by 16.8%. The other version of the greatsword, the, say, Excalibur, I don't know the name of it, we're just taking with that. So say it's Excalibur, it will have different stats. So instead of strength and stamina, it might have intelligence and you know, and stamina for whatever reason. And then maybe the bonus stat is increase parry resistance or something. Like, you know, it's gonna have a different bonus stat. I don't know, I'm just making this up as is, but you get the idea. So they have different bonus stats, so you get to customize your character a lot more freely than what we have right now. So currently, you know, you're just stuck in with these stats with the greatsword, and say, you know, you wanted the other greatsword, or you say you want different stats. Now you can have it with the different versions of obsidian weapons and armor. So armor is being introduced, and they're already getting that split. They're already getting 2 different versions. So if you want, say, a leather that has more magical attack, you can probably get leather that has more magical attack. Or if you want leather that is more agility based, you can get more leather with agility based. You get to customize your stats a little bit more than what we currently have, and you also get to customize your skill bonuses a lot more than we currently have right now. So that's a huge factor. And part of the reason why the moon points is going to go up is because, just like obsidian weapons, you can craft an obsidian armor very cheaply. You just need 1 salvaged illustrious armor piece, and then you get an obsidian armor, whatever grade, like whatever armor it is, chest, pants, gloves, etc. So you get one of those, and now you can start regrading it at tier 1. And when you regrade it, it's going to keep its regrade level as you go up into the ranks to tier 4, tier 5, tier 6. It's going to keep the regrade level. So it's very cheap to invest in a basic armor, turn it into obsidian armor, and regrade it up to a very high status and get a, you know, celestial or divine or even epic armor at that status, and then craft it all the way up. Very cheap. You don't have to invest tens of thousands of gold anymore by trying to take your Delphinad armor and upgrade it at Delphinad status, or upgrade it at Inferium status, and then hope that it can go up into the next tier. So yeah, so the obsidian armor is a great thing, and I can't wait to have those. The moon points should be continuing to increase as well, probably getting up to around like the 10 or so gold. So about a double price increase right now. You can see they're currently around 4 gold or so. So moon points are a great thing, I would say, to invest in currently, and that should see a nice increase in value in the coming weeks as we get closer towards the obsidian armor. And then the last thing that I want to touch on that we'll probably be seeing a increase in value is these tempering flux. These things are currently pretty cheap on my auction house cluster here. Again, this is the Taoyang auction house cluster on the USA servers. This thing costs 222 credits on the cash shop. And that's the only way you can currently get these in the game. So 200 credits for around 6 gold, that's not a very good conversion. If you're trying to sell items from the cash shop over here, you're going to be selling, say, like tax certs or workers' comp, several other items that are worth a lot more for about the same credit value. See if I can find them real quick. Yeah, so it's 225. And that's only going to get you 6 gold. So no one in their right mind would ever want to spend 200 credits to get 6 gold. That's just stupid. You can go ahead and buy a workers' compensation potion for 300 credits, and you can sell that for 30 gold. Huge increase. So an additional 75 credits will get you a lot more gold. Even if we were to cut that price in half, so 15 gold, that's still a lot more than what these tempering armor fluxes are right now. And these guys they reset the piece of armor so it can be tempered again, so you can try and get the best, highest stats on it. So these guys are a great value at under 7. They probably will get up to around 15 to 20 or so. So that's where my recommendation is on those guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a couple of them. But yeah, those are the things that I think are going to be good investments. And we'll show you one last item that might be a very good investment. We've talked about this a little bit before. It's called the Earth Lunarite Celerite. This thing is a great item. It makes Luna gems that increase your run speed. And you can see there's not many on the auction house here. This is the very basic one. This is the level 1 Celerite, and it's selling for 25, and there's only 2 of them on the auction house at this current time. There's a few more of the fine earth lunarite Celerites, and this is my listing right here. When I listed them, that was actually the cheapest, but you can't use them unless you have the very first tier 1 version. So you can see we can't make a tier 2 version unless we have either these guys or we buy these guys right here. Tier 2 requires tier 1. So looking through here, these are tier 2. Tier 2 is selling for about 90 gold. They increase your run speed by 2%. And again, it is a Luna gem, so you can socket multiple of them on your armor, up to like 7 or 8 if you have that many sockets, if your armor is that high. This goes on the foot. And again, if you have 8 of these guys on there at 2% increase, you're going to have a natural speed increase of 16%, which is huge. And, I've always been taught and learned that run speed, move speed, is pretty much the most important stat in a PvP game. If you can run and move faster and kite better than your opponent, you're going to have a huge advantage. And this is the tier 3 version of the run speed. So you can see you can get up to 3% speed increase with these guys. But look at that price, 900 gold. Like, insane. It is insane. But these are the things, the Luna gems are the final piece of the puzzle in Arcehage. Once you have all your gear, you have your tier 5, tier 6 obsidian weapons, or you have your Delph/Ionod weapons and armor, you're going to start socketing and spending all your money on this stuff The regrades are fairly cheap, so you're going to have access to upgrading it and getting it up to, say, Celestial or Divine status. Most people won't go past Celestial or Divine status because you can break your gear. And you don't want to break your gear. That's a huge waste of money. So most people will be content with Celestial Divine status items. And then now they're going to start socketing it. So that's why these things are very, very expensive. We talked about them about a week ago, and they were around the same price. But now with the new obsidian armor coming in, these guys are going to be way more in demand because you're going to have to resocket all your obsidian armor again. These guys could jump up higher. Again, this is really, really expensive as is, 25 gold, and they have been selling at that price. I've sold a couple in the last couple days. They do sell at that price. That's not just like overpriced on the auction house where no one's buying it. They do sell at that price. It is crazy. But yeah, there you have it. Those are things that I think are great investments. Some of the other lunarites as well have possible good investments. So check out that kind of stuff. And thanks for watching. If you have any investments that you think may be good, post them down in the comment section.